What's up, dudes and not dudes? We're here for the big one today. Uh, okay, so the purpose of this video is to go over, and you'll take a look behind me, the rucksack and all of its contents, or at least what I would pack. Um, for those of you who don't know me, I'm David Lee Marshall Williams, and I own a company called Stripe 17, and I'm a firearms instructor. My background is I'm a former light infantryman. I served with 10th Mountain Division from 2004, 2004 till 2010, and I got into a competition rifle after that, and then I started teaching about 7 years ago. So recently I started taking things to live streaming, and I was originally on Instagram for a couple years, but with the way Instagram's changing, YouTube is going to be a better platform from here on out. Stephen David says, hey, nice. What's up, bro? All right, so we've got 3 people in here so far. I'm just going to roll with it, okay? This is my first time live on YouTube, our first official live YouTube, but we're gonna go over all this stuff, and so bear with me because I'm working the camera myself. I have to move the tripod. I have another tripod over there set up, but just bear with me. May not have the best camera quality, but the material here is what I want you to take. And we're gonna go over a rucksack, which is essentially a large backpack, but the commonality between most infantry rucksacks are like, and I'm speaking from my background, which is light infantry. We rely heavily on this stuff. I've lived out of one of these outside of a forward operating base for months at a time. And so I'm very familiar with how these things work. And like I've gone into combat environments and training environments with these things weighing over 110 pounds, 120 pounds even. When I air assaulted into Barjmatal in Afghanistan, I can tell you I had an entire case of water, an entire case of MREs, batteries to run my squad for a week, 200 rounds for the medium machine guns, an extra combat loadout for myself, for ammunition, and then all the clothing and stuff to sustain me. So the commonality between rucksacks is a metal frame. So what I'm running currently, and you can look over here, that is a regular LC2 Alice Large, okay? But I'm gonna grab mine, which is a Tactical Tailor Malice 3, and I'm gonna show you guys what's up with it real quick. All right, so this thing is completely empty, right? You see, it is a pack attached to a metal frame. I have some foam backing in here. It's a little bit tore up, man. It's old. But you can see that there's a frame down here, big cush kidney pad. When dealing with social media, make sure not to display your colors. Okay, I couldn't read that one, but thanks for the social media guidance, man. I appreciate it. Okay, but anyway, so all of this attaches to this frame. Now, the crazy part about this frame, and this was modular for when it was created back in the day, which is like Vietnam era, okay? You see this aluminum grate right here? Looks like a grate. That is a shelf. Okay, so, and I can tell you, like in the Korengal Valley, when you have to carry things like large cans of ammunition or heavy machine guns or something like that, you can actually take the pack portion of this off of the frame, and then you can use your shelf, which these are lashing teeth. You put lashing straps across here, and then you can stack ammo cans up the frame, and then you lash them to the shelf, and then you carry it where you need to carry it. So it's modular in that sense. Does anybody have any questions right now? So the way this is going to work is I'm going to pack all of this stuff up behind me. We're going to pack it in this rucksack because there's a certain way to pack a rucksack. And there's a certain way to put on a rucksack, dude. Like this thing fully loaded, it came out, I stepped on the scale, it was 89 pounds. And you have to wear armor with that too, or you could be wearing armor with that too. I have my armor over there. I'll put my armor on after we get this thing loaded, and then I will show you how to put it on. It's doable. I've done it for years, but you packing the sofa chair too? No, there's renovations going on. Obviously, like there's subfloor right here. So yeah, there's flooring going down. Good connection, sound, and visual so far. Thanks. How many people are in here? 9 right now? Cool. Working out now. Good stuff, man. Cool. I appreciate you guys, man. Okay, so more on the Tactical Tailor Malice 3. The bottom of this pack, you can see all these straps right here. So this is an additional compartment that expands towards the bottom. It expands down. I don't like having it expanded or putting my sleep system in there because of the way it handles on my back. But in a pinch, if you need to carry extra stuff, you can rapidly expand the bottom of this to accommodate way more, I don't know, literage. I don't know how you want to consider it, but okay. And I also want you to keep in mind that everything, the way things are packed in here is dependent on how much I need them or how quickly I might need it or the frequency of its use. For example, the first thing that we're going to pack in here is the sleep system. Okay. So here's my sleep system over here. Let me put the Ruck down. This is a 4-component sleep system, okay? Now I want you to look at it. It's all snapped together and zipped up, but you have the most inner bag, which is a thick, intermediate weight bag that snaps to the next layer, which is like a lightweight patrol bag, okay? And the next layer that it snaps to is a Gore-Tex bivvy, so it's waterproof, it's rainproof. And it all stays together. Now, the way this extreme cold weather clothing system, EQUIX as it's called, the way this sleep system works, and a lot of the other components of the EQUIX system work are air layers, okay? Not a shit ton, not a ton of layers, but a couple large ones, okay? And so like I've slept in one of these, probably down to -20 easily. I can say that for sure because I was stationed up in Fort Drum, and it gets really cold there. It's like 20 minutes from the Canadian border, or 45. Okay, so we're gonna throw this down. Get it all together and into the hood up here. Can you guys see all right? Okay, cool. I'm gonna fold it in half first. The fourth component to this, the stuff sack. Okay, so, and I don't know why they designed it this way, but when it's all compressed, it doesn't exactly occupy the full width of the bottom of the Ruck. But me being a guy with a working dog, I have to carry food for Vinny too. So I just occupy that extra space with Vinny's food. All right, so we're gonna get this rolled up and then we're gonna put it in the stuff up. Now the mode of packing, this mode of packing is called overstuffing or overpacking. It's the way that the Alice pack works. You just press stuff in there and pack it in there as you go. And then that compression, it's all held together and in place and protected. And then you have 2 cinch straps on the front that you'll see that compress it down in size. But the drawback to this is you can't access everything in the pack all at once, despite how much you're able to carry. It's over 100 cubic liters, or over 100 liters. So take it for what it's worth, man. It's got a pro and a con. Now there are other packs like the Philby, and I've heard some dudes say that they take a Philby and they strap it to an Alice frame. I find Alice frames to be more comfortable. I didn't like any of the Molly Rucks. They're kind of trashy. And I didn't like the way they sat on my plate carrier. Now, if you guys like have questions and stuff, obviously I can't like stop what I'm doing to come look, and I can't read from there. And you'll break a sweat packing this stuff, man. I promise. None of it's easy, especially like when you have to access your sleeping bag every night, even though it's the last thing that you need. I don't know what you typed, but you'll have to save it for when I'm back in front of the camera. My drawstring clasp doesn't seem to be biting very well, so I just tie it real quick. All right, so I try to get it down in there before this first compression strap on here. You guys can't see it because it's all black. And I'm sorry. I'm gonna go around, compress it, and kind of like, you know how like we put a wheel on a car and the lug nuts we do in a star pattern? Pretty similar deal. It just holds its shape better. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay and see me okay. And if you guys are wondering where Vinny's at, my dog, he's in his kennel right behind me. He would very much interrupt this live stream. I guess I was a little bit nervous to start this. It's different, man. It's YouTube. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm nervous. All right. There you go. So we're going to grab the ruck. We're going to put it down in the main compartment as a start. Two buckles. Would layering up be more efficient versus a sleeping bag, including a tent? Well, I try to stay away from tent use if it's not totally necessary, man. And I'll show you guys what I view as like a solution to that. Now, if you wear layers when you go to sleep, you're gonna sweat in them, probably like close layers. And you know, like if it's super cold weather and I'm inside like that sleep system, I'm gonna strip down to my skivvies inside the sleep system. Big air layers, big air layers. That's the concept behind like vapor barrier boots. Are you guys familiar with those? They're the Mickey Mouse boots like that. Dudes use in oil field work and stuff like that. Now I turn it sideways as I get it in here. Let me more space this way. I pull on all sides of the bag to get it, make sure it's good and seated in there. I didn't undo one of the buckles. Well, actually, that was my bad. I messed up. Hold up. First thing, waterproof liner. Get this guy in here. Now, yeah, man, you got to waterproof everything in your Ruck. And I like having multiple layers of insurance. Like my sleep system probably gets its own waterproof bag, man. So that way, like when I need it, it's a layer of organization. When I need it, I lift the wet weather bag with all my clothes and stuff like that straight out. Now I have my sleep system. I just pull that out and then I can put my clothes back in. And it's a lot faster that way. Outside of this bag, it's rubber, so it has a little bit harder time going in. It smells weird. I'm not sure how I feel about all that. There's a whole bunch of different waterproof Ruck liners. I think Snug Pack makes one. The ones I used in the military were a lot thicker than this. My storm flap is catching on this thing. There. Turn it long ways in there. Make sure it's down there at the bottom. Okay, so now the Ruck's gonna start standing on its own. That's also why throw that in there first, the largest component, and we're just gonna continue to work this way as we go. Okay, trying to think real quick what the next step is. We are gonna do is gonna grab a wet weather bag. I'm gonna roll up the previous bag. And then I'm gonna take my storm flap, turn it inside out so I can access everything in here. And then the bottom of this bag is going in here. And now I'm gonna drape it as open as I can so I can start filling it with clothes. See, I have a nice little spot right there for my stuff. Okay, so again, dang it, you know what I forgot is Vinny's food. There we go. Let me grab it real quick. More or less a week's worth. I don't feed him kibble, I feed him raw. But raw is like obviously unmanageable. So this is what unfortunately he gets. I mean, it's not like I'm eating like a king either. So it sucks for both of us. I'm gonna put it on in the space that the sleep system doesn't occupy. Now I'm gonna put it down in there with some force. And you see how I'm constantly fighting stuff into place with this. That's pretty normal, man. Like when you drawstring this thing up, you should put your knee in it and muscle it up, man, for sure. Again, so the chat on here, as you guys are typing, your comments only stay up for a few seconds. So if you're typing stuff, it's to each other because I'm not able to read it. Okay, gonna leave this guy open. Now, next priority, last in the clothing department, a set of utility uniforms, multicam. It's the most versatile out there, okay? We all can't have the perfect camouflage scheme. We living in fantasy land if you think that's. All right. I'm going to put a set of civilian clothes, black jeans and a gray shirt. Nothing red and shit like that. Like you can do earthy colors is a good idea. All right, now I'm gonna pause right here, okay? Because I've got a little bit of buildup in this second wet weather bag. Now, because we don't have a field kitchen coming with us everywhere, I've got my own stove. Now, nesting these components being a bottle of diesel and my diesel stove, it's an MSR XGK. What does that say? Can you cover Ranger rolling your tops and bottoms? Rolling your stuff like your t-shirts, your socks, and stuff as compact as possible. Obviously for this reason, because you're trying to milk every square inch out of this ruck as possible. Okay, so titanium nesting cookware, whatever. I think it's kind of flimsy. You need to silence all loose things with something. I don't know, that shit can't rattle inside your rucksack. There's my stove. And then I hook it up to the diesel bottle. Diesel bottle's got a pump on it and a valve, and I'm in business. There's reflectors that I have with my electronics pouch, but you're in business. On that note, I'll grab it here in a second. What are you gonna eat with? Something. And it's gotta be like long enough to, stir things or get into things too. Or it should be, like, or you can use your fingers, I don't care. All right, so obviously a little liter of highly combustible fuel. Right here in front of, this is the frame side right here. Right here in front of this wet weather bag, I've got space next to the frame. That's gonna protect it from any sort of impact or anything like that. And so, fuel bottle right there on this side. Stove. Right there on that side. Actually, I'm going to switch these up. I have more depth on that side for a bottle. And then, right there. Okay, now we're in business with that. Next clothing item. Spare uniform, again. And these are like vacuum bags that you roll, and there's a valve at the end. Really, it's just a channel for air to escape and not get back in. But they work kind of, we'll see, honestly. I want to take them out to the field. But an entire set outfit in one deal, and it's waterproof. You see how like diligent this is with the waterproofing? I mean, you want this thing to not drown you if you fall in a river. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I know, bud. Okay. Next item is going to be, silk weight and grid weight long underwear. So silk weight, you wear like under a utility uniform. It's for when it's cold out, but you still are going to be doing quite a bit of physical activity, okay? The mid-weight, that would be more like if you're sitting around. Or if it's sub-zero, like -20, then what we would do is wear this mid-weight with Gore-Tex top and bottom, okay? And that is just one huge air layer that stays warm because it's Gore-Tex. It keeps air in there for a minute. But, man, I'm sweating. Told you guys. I told you guys. And so, since it's less probable that I'll pull this out as opposed to this brown fleece or Gore-Tex top, then this goes in next. Also, 3 t-shirts. This is like more like a winter ruck, okay? So I want you to take it with a grain of salt. That this is, the colder it is, the bigger your ruck's gonna be. So you might as well start looking into snowshoes if you live in a snowy area. Sorry, guys. But 3 black t-shirts and regular civilian athletic underwear help keep me supported, you know? Tetris that makes you sweat, like sweaters. Vinny, come on, bud, lay down. Okay, got 5 pairs of socks right here, and they're in their own bags, so that way I can get in and reach them. And I additionally, where is that thing? This is that thing. So this is a single set of socks by itself, okay? So that way, that sits in an outside pouch, and that way I can access it without digging into the entire ruck. And this is 4 more pairs of socks. So you keep in mind of your time for the live. You're doing great quality, haven't dropped. Okay, cool. Sweaters, yeah, man. It's totally sweaters, dude. All right, so I'm gonna tuck this in the sides that aren't occupied by clothing bags, by larger clothing bags. Now, I also have to shift my focus too from clothing real quick before I fill up and close this wet weather bag. So most of my MREs, all of them except for one, again, you know, a single pair of socks on the outside, a single MRE on the outside, so that way you don't have to dig for shit. Okay, so old MREs had real thick packaging, like this humanitarian aid MRE, and that occupies space inside the ruck. So you would normally strip them down. This is stripped down enough, okay? Now, why is it wrapped in duct tape? So it compresses it, and it's not loose or shifting after I get it into the thing. And duct tape is a fire starter. It's petroleum-based. It'll burn for a minute. How many people are in here? 22. Dope, man. That's cool. Haven't cussed too much. I'm trying to keep it like kind of PG for YouTube. Like I know I was kind of belligerent on Instagram. But like this video, someone's gonna send to their boomer grandfather, and he's not gonna like me because of the way that I look. And it's gonna be awesome. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm tucking 3 MREs and keep them outside of the wet weather bags. That way, in case they burst, they don't get all over your clothes and stuff. And however I can get it in there. I figured out that the YouTube limitations for live are basically like more or less, to keep it simple, 3 hours, 12 hours, or in theory, infinite. Like you can stream infinitely your whole life to YouTube, the entire thing. Okay, that's 2. Man, this thing's light. real light, like just insignificant. Now your top drawstring, there's a storm flap and a drawstring in here. Okay, so you see the drawstring with the tan colored, running through the tan colored tabs. That is basically like your capture lid. So as long as you can get stuff beneath that drawstring, then it'll stay in place. And that's also coincidentally the drawstring that helps compress the ruck. That's why it's so heavily tacked and reinforced, and why it's such, right. Okay. We just weasel this stuff in here. Now, something else I have to consider is spare combat load. I gotta pull, there's an interior pouch in here. That is nylon webbing reinforced. So I'm gonna take, okay, the bandolier, right? It's got clip-in points for a sling. It's also got Velcro on the back. So you take your chest rig off your armor, put that in its place. Now you're filled up on ammo, okay? I might have jumped the gun and yeah, you know what I did. You kind of want it up high, like in the ruck, inside that radio pouch, so that way you can pull it out easily. I way overcommitted. I got too excited and forgot about my bandolier. This will happen too. Like, you'll be like, dang it, or you'll like get it completely packed, and then you'll look over and see one thing that you need in there, and unfortunately you need it like at the bottom of it. Okay, so that's right up there at the top. We're good to go on that. Readjust these MREs, the Mr. E's. Looking good over there. Stove nest is good. Fuel bottle is good. Cool, man. Looks good. Yeah, see, I'm not sure how much I like these vacuum bags. In the very least, I know they're not gonna let my stuff get wet. Okay, now this is the most probable piece of snivel gear, as I call it, that I'm likely to grab as a Gore-Tex top or a fleece top. I'm gonna throw this guy right in here. Now pay attention. You should have to fight this thing every step of the way. Like, if you're not, then you're not doing it right. I'm serious. You can use your drawstring to like incrementally ratchet it into place, if that makes sense. See it, how that's working? Oh man, I didn't see who typed what. If you don't sweat or lose your cool packing the Ruck, you didn't pack it right, who? Yeah, man. Look at me. Like I'm serious, bro. I wasn't kidding, dude. All right. So now we have that taken care of, okay? Let's move on to some outside stuff. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything on the inside. Nope, we're Gucci. Cool. All right. So you got 3 pouches on the lower portion, right? Those 3. Okay. That is your wet weather gear pouches. When you need that stuff, you need it ASAP, bro. So first things first, Gore-Tex wet weather top. You can see the material inside, and then it's got a hood. This is an Afghanistan veteran of mine. Like, that really has been there. I just took it anyways, bro. So I'm gonna put that on one of the side pouches. Just roll it, stuff it in there, get it in there. There you go. All right. You wear the trousers. But I know you don't like it, bro. He's starting to fit. All right, next wet weather item. This is your poncho, okay? So, what are these things for? These tethers for? No offense with that backpack is amazed. Would it be easier to use different color small bags? Yeah, or like, because you might have to access stuff in the dark, like glow tabs, or like zipper pulls. On Instagram, Late Night Creeps sells those. So look into it, and that's a great way to organize stuff. Paramedics do that stuff too with their medical equipment, so they can find it in the dark. I've never used a glow pull. I've been fine. Okay, so a poncho. I have never in my life used a poncho in its intended mode of operation, but this is crucial. Despite that, you guys were talking about tents earlier, right? Well, guess what? This is your tent. It's got grommets. You tie it to whatever you got to tie it to, okay? So that being said, and if you needed to throw it over, what is that? Well, I know, don't trigger him. That ain't gonna trigger me. All right, so front and center, okay? Now also, my 4th MRE, my ready MRE, my speed reload MRE, okay? Let me move this guy over here. Dude, I see Telegram notifications going crazy, bro. By the way, yeah, if you aren't following my Telegram because I'm forbidden on Instagram, then go ahead and follow it. Okay, so both of those guys are in there, right? Cool, we can close that. Funny story, I actually had this Ruck brought to me in the Cornwall Valley. I saw the Chinook that they used to sling our mail under the fucking Chinook, right? And so I got to see it come in. Pretty wild. I'll give a couple more shoves on this dude. Tuck in any stuff I overlooked, like that. Give more tugs. Get a little bit more line out of that. Then I'm gonna finagle, just finagle the wet weather stuff loose. It'll come out. And I just kind of roll it because you're gonna have it compressed anyways, with the stuff on top of it and like your sleeping pad and everything like that. So, okay, so we got the wet weather stuff done. Now we have like on the fly snivel gear, okay? Okay, so balaclava face mask, right? Cover the neck and everything like that from bitter cold wind. We're gonna set that right there on top. Actual winter gloves that I can shoot with. Can't really manipulate the weapon too well, but I can shoot. Mittens with flip up things, fingerless mittens. And then actual running a gun glove. Fleece cap. So we're gonna take the stuff that is more likely to absorb water, put it, waterproof bags, man. Now some of these like green bags and stuff like that, take a paint marker to them and write what it is that you keep in there, or a permanent marker, or whatever the case is. So I'm gonna take this, put it in one of these upper pouches. Okay. I'm gonna leave that next in here. This is a bottle of Mexican doxycycline. So there's some doxycycline in here. There's ibuprofen and a lighter and some paper towel stuffed in there to silence it. It's like you can put like a lighter in your stuff, but like if it's compressed against like the button that discharges gas, well, then you could like pull this thing out of your ruck and now you have an empty lighter, and that's going to be real disappointing, man, when you really need it the most. But don't, 3 forms of fire, but don't count on being able to use fire. And if you use fire, you're asking for trouble. Okay, 3 forms of fire. 3 forms of water. The water collection bag, 1 gallon, it's a Sawyer. And inside of it are all the components like the filter, the hose. I think there's another lighter in there, but it doesn't take up too much space. I put it on the side pouch where I put my whoopee. Now, before you guys laugh at me calling it a whoopee, that's what it's called. It's a whoopee. But we'll get to that here in just a second. Another form of water, 2-component iodide tablets. Potassium permanganate. This is a purple granulated chemical that you can irrigate wounds with, you can purify water with, and then when you mix this, like if you mix this with antifreeze, it is a source of fire, it combusts. Concentrated, not 50-50. So I put the potassium permanganate right up here on my top flap. Let's actually, These need to wait because they go on top of my weapons cleaning kit. Iodine tablets go in here. All right, next agenda item, the whoopee now. Okay, this is the whoopee. It's a poncho liner. Okay, you're supposed to attach it to the poncho when you wear it in cold environments. Again, never done that. I use this as a sleeping bag when I don't want to take my boots off. Now, why wouldn't I want to take my boots off? Well, because there's a security threat. That's why. So I keep this thing handy. I used one of these in North Carolina. It saved my ass in like freezing sleet because it still works when it's wet. The dog could be the whoopee to save space. I know, right, man? This dude can't carry anything either. Like I can't, because dogs can't they can't assess like how weight is going to impact their landing. Like if they jump off of stuff, they'll go as hard as they normally would without, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside just a second. Okay, field knife, that's a Bowie knife. You know what? I only had my KA bar in here. I'm gonna strap that between my sleeping pad and my hydration pack. Okay, so the whoopee, stuffing it in. Let me turn. Okay, so again, overpacking. Just start with one end. Work this guy in here. And it's compressed. You know that guy that is on like all those Instagram reels, the shorts with cooking, and he's like, I think he's someplace on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, Middle East, but he's always smiling at the camera, like the whole time he like puts things on the stove, and I'm like it strikes me as weird. Like, I don't know, man. I have to look at what I'm doing. I'm talking to you guys, but I have to look. Okay, next we gotta get these gloves off of here. Okay, but in order to do that, weapons cleaning kit / tool kit, man, it's pretty comprehensive. I even have like replacement like ear pro hangers. And I've got enough oil in case I need to like, you know how much oil machine guns require? Because some of these dudes don't understand, like I see Marines before, like they got a spray bottle of CLP for the 240s. That's overpacking things like magic. Every time you don't think it's gonna fit, push hard. And that's why like it's kind of so important that this stuff is built like a tank. Because you'll thrash it just packing it. I don't think like that. A lot of the packs at REI are gonna really hold up to that. Okay, so right here on the front, weapons maintenance takes priority even over food, sleep, everything. If the gun's not up, what are you? Useless. Right there on the outside, and easy access winter gloves. An e-tool. Did everybody see the meme floating around? It was like, I think there's been some mistake. I was supposed to be an Instagram war hero. And he's like, dig the fighting position. And I'm going to let you guys in on a little rucksack secret. You take one of these things. Yes, the thing I just had next to my face. When when you've got to, you know, go in the field, take this guy and put one butt cheek on it, you're good. For real. I know some of y'all be hanging on to trees and stuff like that, man. Some of y'all are animals. Now, Alice clips, man. This thing, this shovel tool and trenching tool is secured by Alice clips. You can see right in there. Zip tie those Alice clips. Put a medium zip tie through them. Okay. Water solutions, right? Okay. Since the moment you throw this thing on, you should be drinking water. Make this thing pretty accessible. I just, right there, and then I flip everything over it, or you can even strap this on top of the ruck by your sleeping pad. You see what I'm saying? Now, we'll get to that guy in a second. But either way, you should start drinking water the second you throw this ruck on, because, brother, you are going to need it. All right? This is one water solution. I haven't gotten the components yet, but here is another solution. So, my armor and plate carrier, right? 2-liter bladder inside of a back panel that throws onto the back of my plate carrier. Now, the thing about this, ProMask port. Now, you can pop that out and put a bite valve in it. The bite valve also has to be easily accessible, but you can do something like strap that to the top of your ruck too. And then you can route your hose, which is insulated. If you're in a cold environment, just insulate your tube and everything realistically, but keep your tube clear by blowing air through it, so that way you don't have water freeze in the tube, if that makes sense. I had somebody crying about, well, but canteens are better. And I'm like, dude, just like, you got to know how to work with your stuff. I'm sorry. So that Camelback is 3 liters. Now, Gene, right? Okay, so take this pouch, you can put it on your war belt. You can throw it in your ruck. You can do whatever with it, I don't care. But Nalgene bottle, right? Simple. Titanium canteen or stainless canteen cup. Okay, so that way you can heat water over a stove or a fire or whatever it is that you got. And then you can shave too. Nobody wants to shave with cold water. Hold on, yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna set this guy aside. By the way, this is the bite valve for that back panel. And then these are lashing straps for the shelf. They're real simple. You just pull on them and they ratchet tight. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so we've got the water. We've got no eating utensil. Throw that in with easy access right there above the gloves and the cleaning kit. Okay. Tripwire. Like, I know like people that like, there's probably some farm boys on here and they'll agree that having like a spool of wire handy, same thing, man. Aside from its intended purpose, a trip for like a perimeter alarm, you can make a field expedient antenna out of this. And if you run it up a tree without touching the tree with it, like C550 cord, then you can really punch with your comms. Notice how there's a yellow one, and then there's also a camouflage one, right? I forgot to put my face mask in there. Okay. Rangefinder. It's just a golf rangefinder that shoots meters, but he got Zuck the other night. Oh, okay. So rangefinder, get a range to a target. Now you, because you're familiar with your ballistic data or your ballistic performance of your projectile, you should be able to plug this into your magnified optic and get a first round hit, or at least be a lot closer to it. And plus it's good, handy for looking at things. Stay clean in the field, like keep yourself clean. That's why just sometimes, like, yeah, you don't have enough like uniforms to just change that out every day, but change your shirt and your underwear and give yourself a bath, keep yourself clean. So just saying. Let me see this guy over here. Some extra medical stuff in a waterproof bag. Curlix, or I think that's called Curlix. It's self-adhesive athletic bandage, but I bought a bunch of it off of Amazon. It's way easy. Extra bandages, pressure dressing, hemostatic agent, and a space blanket. That's my extra stuff. I keep a Sam splint in Vinny's patrol pack. For him, not me. I probably need another Sam splint, don't I? Seems like it. I'm gonna put that with my armor. Like you guys can see now, overpacking is the gig, right? Like, let's throw this guy in there too. Vinny, are you just playing in there, bro? Okay. Few extra magazines, smoke and pyro from in a Night Fighter chest rig. This is a Night Fighter Fenris. I actually really like how the chest rig lets you orient your magazines to where you can just come down and straight into the gun. But let me see here. And I keep that chest rig also pre-wired with PTT for my radio. Let's try all of that over again. There we go. Trial and error, man. You want the majority of your weight to be up high. It just handles better. Like, handles better with weird movements and jumping and stuff like that. And keep it central, man. Otherwise, like, your turns are going to be exaggerated because you have weight on the outside of your ruck. I don't really use my kidney straps well. In case I need to get the ruck off quickly or whatever. I feel that armor offsets that shift in balancing point. Yeah, he's totally playing with blankets back there. I had taken him for a walk right before I jumped on him and got all nervous and self-side. Let me see. We need to do the top flap before we go further. Okay. So batteries, chargers, solar panel. A Goal Zero solar panel. It's flexible. It's not gonna like break or anything like that. I need to trim my nose here. But cases for all my batteries, extra batteries. How many times would you think is good for unpack pack practice? A lot. I think that's a good number. Extra Alice clips, in case I lose any or a zip tie fails. I also have the reflectors for my stove and the infamous nicotine patches to wean me off, because you're not going to keep smoking. Sometimes you may be able to, but might get used to the idea that you might not be a smoker anymore. And I'm a smoker. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my top flap. Hey! No! What, you think I'm not paying attention to you? Okay, we got that in there. 550 cord. This is a large amount of 550, but there's a couple different deviations of 550. And it's in the test rating, okay? This black stuff, 550, 550 pound test with, I think, 7 internal strands, but the red stuff is 750 pound test. And then they make even stronger stuff. That's 1,000 pound test. The red stuff is survivor cord, and then the 1,000 pound test is Titan cord. The survivor cord, I guess, has kindling in it or something like that. I don't really care. I'm not sold by survival bracelets, man. The 1,000 pound test, I guess, has snare wire in it. I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. But you should have at least like 100 feet of it. Okay? Like that, I don't think that's too unreasonable. Especially given how much stuff usually needs to be tied. Okay, we got that in there. More fire starting crap. It's waterproof. And put that on the side. Okay, basic hygiene stuff. I know it's a crap bag, and it's wrapped in duct tape. But again, duct tape is a fire starter. Redundancy, man. Toothbrush, small tube of toothpaste, some soap, a safety razor, bro. That's it right now. I'm working on a better Ruck hygiene solution, but something's better than nothing. You don't even really need toothpaste, man. You can use water. Just brush your teeth. Now, signal is a marine rescue flare, and I actually had intended to put this next to that 1 gallon bag of water. And I'm not going to get that in there right now without unpacking it all. But this can be seen for 10 miles, or so they say. At least it says it on the side, whatever. This is a smaller aerial flare. I have it wrapped in athletic tape because it's bright orange and just kind of, it's not so bright, obviously. Shot this in the air. It's visible for a couple miles, for sure. If your team has to leave and you're grabbing a ruck, doesn't matter whose. Right, if your team has to leave, just grab a ruck, any ruck. It doesn't matter, okay? All right, so these, I keep a couple of them in there. They're good for shift fire, lift fire, stuff like that. Let me put that down. I would put it on an outer pouch. Everybody's sort of writing the rain. Waterproof notebook. Like, you're going to have to write stuff, and you're going to have to get a pen, and So you can still sustain even if it's not your ruck. Well, in theory, the idea is that everybody's contents are all the same across the board, but we as private people cannot. It's a little harder to ensure that. But either way, so pen and waterproof paper. Let's take this sleeping pad. Now, before I put the sleeping pad on, I am going to take my Camelback hose and I'm going to route it through my shoulder strap. I think I want it over my left shoulder. So I'll turn it around. I'll spin the gizmo around, point it towards the front, thread this over. See, that wasn't so bad. It only took an hour, right? Then I run it back. Let me see. And I run it back through right over there. So I've got some good hose length. I just have to watch it. Been known to bust. What does that say? Yeah, I can't read it, bro. I'm sorry, honey. Next is sleeping pad. Or actually, let's cinch all of this up. We can set the Camelback down. Okay. Cinch this up. Now everything's hunky-dory, man. Let's get this guy on here. And then this guy, we will put the kniff right there. Okay. Actually, we have way more space. Let me turn it so you guys can see. You want it to kind of be like a platform up on top of here. So the flatter you can keep this, the cooler that is. Okay, so you take your buckles, oh shoot. Okay. So you take your buckles, loosen them all the way up, get it down to the bottom, buckle it correctly. There we go. Get this buckle. Okay, and now the compressing begins. So what I do is I'll grab these straps and I'll pull towards the bottom and then I'll cinch up the slack. And I'll do it to the other side. Pull towards the bottom, cinch up the slack. Do it to this side. Pull towards the bottom, cinch up the slack. You don't want to push it too much, man. I know some of you dudes can break this thing easily. Don't. It's strong, but like some of you are real strong, man. Okay. That looks to be. Let me get my armor on. So you need to clear out the back of your war belt to you either need to clear out the back of your war belt to accommodate this ruck pad, or like that means just having nothing on the upper back side of it. You should be all right with that. And unless you're like have like some weird short torso or something like that. But either way. Adjust my clothing. I don't like my shoulder folds sitting on bare skin. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm sweating, man. So either clear out space on your war belt, or I have standalone pistol carriers that I can just throw my war belt over. And then you can strap your war belt to your ruck. Because like honestly, man, like I like having my waist as clear as possible. Let's do one final pre-flight. And then we tuck the straps. It is super unprofessional in this world to have things hanging from your ruck. Whether it be gear or straps, stow that stuff. So it don't snag on stuff, doesn't look like crap. Now, notice how I'm facing the back of the ruck, right? Like the frame is right up there. So I turn inside out my shoulder straps. Then I grab my frame and you have to lift. And then I work it. And I also bend over as it slides down my back. And then I find my shoulder retention straps. Now, it's gonna slide down and go over your back plate. But either way, thing's huge, right? Now we're ready to roll. And throw your weapon over you. Can't do that on live, but you get the idea. Now taking it off. Same thing, reverse order. So you don't mess yourself up. Bend over, loosen your shoulder straps. Mind my antenna. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Now go walk some miles with it, Bubba. But that's it, man. Anybody got any questions right now? Oh, also, I wanted to show you. This is my homie's ruck. It's pretty heavy too. This is a regular Alice, okay? Civilian sleep pad. He's got a knee brace on there because he's got an Achilles knee. So if you do have an Achilles knee, then maybe get a knee brace because you're gonna need it. Camelback strap to the top. You should be able to, and he's got a 2-quart on the side with another sling inside. Okay, so you should be able to get away with one of these for less than 200 bucks. They're really affordable. Now, like mine is like $600. So you don't necessarily have to spend that much. Beat me to it. That was slick. Good live, man. Thanks for the knowledge. Sweet, dude. I appreciate it, man. No problem. Get a Philby Alice Ruck for 120. Boom. That's what's up. Nothing else? No. All right, and then on the outside of this, magazine storage. Mine does have that, but Any questions at all? Because how long did this take? 75 minutes, so an hour and 15 minutes. We wouldn't have even made it on IG that long. I didn't get to see that comment. But, well, I guess that wraps it up, dudes. Hopefully this gives you guys an idea of how to use these things. Because I know there's probably quite a few dudes who like got this and they're like, what? Like, you've never done it before. It's not your fault, like, but now you're doing it. So this is how you do it. I did scrunch up my antenna throwing my Ruck on, so that was something to be cognizant of. What distance should you be able to hike that? I've moved, dude, I've done 325-mile rucks in my life, and then I've done 140-kilometer combat patrol movement. What place do I run? Paraclete level 4. Appreciate the video, brother. Word, man. Appreciate you guys. If you guys like this content and want to keep it going on YouTube, Venmo or Cash App. Venmo is David-Williams-1663. Cash App is Bayonet Fresh to Death with no A in death. But either way, you guys had sent me a lot from my last Instagram live. I was able to complete the whole Ruck layout, but what's the Telegram? I'm trying to remember. I believe it's just Strife 17, all one, /Strife 17. Good info, bro. Cool, man. Thank you. This is awesome. Thanks. Awesome, dude. If you, and this is YouTube, you can share this video. Think about sending it to whoever you think might benefit from it, man. Get this thing going. The video quality, I'm sorry, man. There's renovations and it just, but the material is what's important here. Okay. Well, without further ado, then I guess I'm going to jump off and you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe this weekend.